What is going on, y'all? Welcome to the Media Goose channel. I am the Media Goose, and the goose is loose, baby. Ha! I am here today to talk to you about Avengers Doomsday. That's right, Doomsday is approaching, and I'm really excited to talk about it today. I'm going to share with you some thoughts about how we got here, how we went from Kang Dynasty to Doomsday, the rumors about Secret Wars, my thoughts on the teasers and what they might mean, just kind of a general video about Doomsday being 11 months away. That feels crazy to me. But anyway, let's get into those teasers. Or are they teasers? Let's get into it. So the Russos, who also directed Infinity War and Endgame, and I believe Civil War, they are directing this. When these teasers were released, they tweeted, they were like, these are not teasers, these are not trailers, these are clues. Now, what is a trailer if not clues what a movie is going to be? But I'll go with them. I'll play along. Let's see what clues they might be laying out in these teasers. So the first teaser introduces Steve Rogers back into the fray. Notice I said Steve Rogers. They didn't bill him as Captain America. I've seen a lot of people upset that Steve's return could undercut what was a pretty beautiful transitioning from one Captain America to another, in my opinion. But I don't see it that way. I think Steve Rogers will return. That's what it said after the trailer. It didn't say Captain America. Sam's Cap. But Steve Rogers is still a vital part of this story. The Russos have also made it clear that this will heavily tie into the events of Endgame. And the first teaser, I think, wholeheartedly proves that. Because it's about Steve. Steve walks up to his house that we saw him dancing with Peggy at the end of Endgame. And he has a baby. So we knew Steve had already stayed behind and lived his life with Peggy and all that. We knew that because he showed up looking like Joe Biden by a lake at the end of Endgame. But this proves that it is going to be a big deal that Steve did this. There are going to be consequences for Steve staying back in time like he did. And I think he is probably going to be one of the people Doom is most after in this film. I think Steve and Doom will probably be a big one-on-one that we build up to. Now, in this teaser, I think there's a chance that when it shows somebody walking up to the door, it's possible that's Dr. Doom. I don't think the shoulders look like burly enough for Chris Evans. They look a little narrow. I think that could have been RDJ. It looked like he had a case in hand. Maybe it's him giving Cap that case with his suit in it. I don't know. But I think the main theme of that one is going to be consequences and repercussions for your actions. And that baby, having been born to Peggy and Steve, could have superpowers. It could be a really powerful baby. So there's another theory that I'll get to after a couple more of these. So the second teaser, that one, which one was the second one? Thor. Dramatic Thor. Not jokey, corny Thor that we got in Thor 4. Thor 4 needed more gore. Yeah, Thor 4 was a swing and a miss. Taika, I don't think he should write when he directs, maybe. That's what that movie felt like. It really bothered me, honestly, how goofy it was. That was a movie that really let me down in the past phase. And to see Thor back to his kind of dramatic, Shakespearean, intense self is awesome. And he's praying to Odin to make it back from war. So he's preparing for a war. Probably with Doom, I'd have to imagine. I think all of these teasers are meant to foreshadow what massive shadow Doom is going to cast over everything. I think all of these trailers lead to Doom. And there's a shot where Love, his daughter, who, if you didn't see Thor 4, Thor's daughter she was brought back to life by Eternity and has the powers of Eternity pulsing through her. And Eternity is one of the, I don't know the word they use, but one of the core building blocks of the universe. So that's another super-powered child. We saw Doom with Franklin at the end of Fantastic Four. We have a child to a super person in the first trailer, and now the second trailer is Thor's sick daughter. So I think another thing this could be teasing, there's the theory that Doom is snatching up children, potentially super-powered children. But also, if incursions are happening and universes are dying, if there are peoples whose power comes from the universe, like Eternity, like Franklin with the power cosmic, are they in danger? Would they die if their universe dies, or would they lose their powers if their universe dies? So I think the first thought was, is Doom kidnapping kids? Maybe. Or is he saving them? So after that, we have the third trailer, which was by far my favorite. It was the X-Men tease. It is narrated by Magneto, and it's really interesting because it feels like him and Charles have switched sides. Charles is in his X-Men jacket, looking like he's leaving for war. And Magneto is sitting there, not in uniform, not in costume, telling him, it doesn't matter when you die. It's who you are when you die. That feels like a sentiment that might be shared to stop Charles. So to stop an incursion, you have to destroy the Earth of the other universe. I think the X-Men might be getting ready to go destroy a universe, and Magneto is against it. Oh, how the turntable. It was beautiful. And then at the end of that trailer, we get Cyclops in all of his glory, blasting out that massive beam. And that was more Cyclops than any moment in the original 3 X-Men movies. Those movies, while good, are not particularly X-Men movies, you know? It was the 2000s version. It never hit with me. They were good, but I didn't think they were the X-Men as I know them. So Cyclops erupting, he has a daughter, Rachel Summers, to Jean Grey, who I think inherits the Phoenix Force, so maybe that's another superpowered child who Doom might have taken. Maybe not, though. Jean is also not in this trailer. She could be dead. She could be gone. Who knows? But that's the third one. And the fourth one is Wakanda and the Fantastic Four. This one, I think, was meant to make you feel excited about the way crossovers are going to happen. M'Baku meeting the Thing is like one of the most random interactions ever. And we haven't had an Avengers movie since Endgame, which is to me like one of the biggest mistakes of Marvel. So we haven't had those moments of crossover, which was what the universe was built on. And that's the biggest problem with the multiverse saga, which, by the way, I think I'm going to do a biggest missed opportunities by Marvel. Let me know down below if you'd like to see that video and what you think are some missed opportunities. But, yeah, this one, Shuri says that she's lost everyone. That is curious, because at the end of Wakanda Forever, she meets T'Challa's son, Toussaint. T'Challa Jr., I think? I think his name is T'Challa Jr., but also Toussaint. So is that another child missing? Maybe Doom, again, like I said, there's that theory that maybe Doom is collecting superpowered children. Whether that be to create a new universe, to they're probably pawns if that's what he's doing. He wants the most powerful people on his side, and kind of in the mind. I hope they don't do this because it feels too much like Vecna, and it feels too much like what they did with Gore. I don't need another children kidnapper happening. Like, that's what the hell? It's Doctor Doom. You know what I mean? Like, you diminished Gore the God Butcher to Gore the kidnapper. Let's not do that to Doctor Doom. Also, when Ben is standing there, there is like very clearly a perfect amount of space next to him for somebody to have been removed from the shot, which Marvel did that in Endgame. They did that in No Way Home to remove the Spider-Men, so I think they're hiding something. I don't get why. It's probably just Sue or Johnny. I don't get why they would edit them out. Unless it's Doom. That could be it. So those are the 4 trailers. And now I'm going to share with you kind of my thoughts. The last thing I said at the end there, it could be Doom there with the Thing. I think there's a chance that we meet Doom as a hero. I think, for one, the post-credit scene from Fantastic Four where he arrives and talks to Franklin, I think it's possible that the next moment of that scene is just, Victor? What are you doing here? Like, I think they probably already know him. I hope. Let's talk about that. Where's he coming from? I think there are like 4 options of where he could be coming from. For one, he could be from the 828, which is Reed and Sue's universe. They showed the Latvarian stand at the Richards Foundation, or the Franklin, the UN looking thing from Fantastic Four. They showed Latveria, but not him. So it would come to reason that there is a Doctor Doom in that world. If not from their universe, one of my favorite theories has always been he's from the 838. That's the universe from Multiverse of Madness. There was a missing chair on the dais of the Illuminati. And a lot of people theorized who that could be. A lot of people were expecting an Iron Man variant. Well, now, what if an Iron Man variant is Doom? It's being played by Robert Downey Jr. His name will be Victor Von Doom, but he might be a variant of Tony. And when we're in the world in Multiverse of Madness, there are what look like Ultron bots, but also could be Doom bots. Like, the fact that Tony and Doom have so many similarities, it's kind of perfect the way they're doing this. Tying it into the fact that it is the same person, or at least variants of each other. I actually like that. I know there's a lot of comic book fans that aren't a fan of that. I kind of dig it. I like the thing that, because this was also not their choice. They went all in on Kang. They wanted Kang to be the guy. And then Jonathan Majors did some stuff, and that could no longer be the future of Marvel. So they had to change things around. So I think this is the best they could do based on that. So, all right, I said the 838 from Fantastic Four, 828. The third option, he's a random multiverse traveler who is affected by the results of the Avengers time tampering. So the way I said at the beginning of the Steve Rogers trailer, it could be Doom who is walking up to that door. What if Steve staying back in time is the branch that destroyed Doom's reality? What if Steve, deciding he wanted to have a family, took Doom's family and erased them from his life? I think that makes a lot of sense. I think our Avengers are going to take everything from Doom, not even realizing it. I think that's the most likely way this goes. Yeah, I think he'll probably be just a variant of Tony. Oh, this is the other theory. Sorry, I lost myself there for a second. The other theory. This is the Tony from Endgame when they went back in time. The Tony that Ant-Man went into his chest and like messed with it so he would have that health episode. What if that Tony became obsessed? What if that Tony was like, what happened today? And ran back all of the security you know he would have in Avengers Tower. And what if he saw the time heist happening and put together the pieces of the puzzle that there were people from a different timeline here messing with the fabric of his reality? And he becomes obsessed with time. He studies it, becomes a perfectionist, wants to know everything about it. And that is how he becomes Doom. Because the Avengers basically did it to themselves. They would have been responsible. That would make the most sense as to why it had to be Robert Downey Jr. to play this Victor Von Doom, if it is a Tony variant. But they did flat out say that he's playing Victor Von Doom, so I don't think the Doom we meet will be that. But when we go all the way back to when Robert Downey Jr. was revealed as Doom, he came out with like 10 other Dooms around him. I think we might see that in this movie. We might see like a council of Dooms, or at least other characters wearing Doom masks as his army, as his team of Dark Avengers, multiversal Avengers. Because I think more than likely, Doom to some amount of the characters in this movie will be the hero. They will take his face to mean he has the same moral compass that Tony did. And Doom is too smart to not use that to his advantage. So I think he is probably playing everybody the entire time. Now, of all those options, my favorite option is that probably... Oh, it's so hard, because I'd really like, after Secret Wars is over, and it likely ends with Robert Downey Jr.'s Doom being defeated and killed, I hope that there is still a Doom from the Fantastic Four universe. That maybe at the end of Secret Wars, we see a picture of Reed in college, and there's a different person standing next to him. Maybe the actor I've wanted since as long as I can remember having a fan cast for Doom, it's been Cillian Murphy. And when that announcement about Dr. Doom happened, the Russos said, to play a character like Dr. Doom, we need the best actor in the world. And when they said that, I was like, oh my God, they got Cillian Murphy. They didn't. They got the second best actor in Oppenheimer. But ultimately, I would hope that we can have another Doom down the line. And I know some people might think that's dumb, because doesn't that undercut everything that happens with Downey now? No, I don't think it does, because at the end of Secret Wars, spoiler alert, how do I handle this? Okay, so I said I was going to talk about Doomsday, how it became Doomsday and Secret Wars. So the moment Kang Dynasty and Secret Wars were announced, it felt like they spoiled their own ending to me. Because Secret Wars, very famously, there is this place called Battle World that Dr. Doom cobbles together of a bunch of fragments of realities, because the multiverse dies. All of the universes in it die. And Dr. Doom takes pieces from remaining universes and forms Battle World, the only remaining universe. And he takes like heroes, villains from all over and just pits them against each other. So when you say Secret Wars is coming, that logically would mean the multiverse has to end beforehand. So I thought it was weird that with Kang Dynasty, was announced Secret Wars, because it's like you're revealing your own ending, essentially. Like, oh, if we're going to Secret Wars, that must mean the multiverse dies. And then everything happened with Jonathan Majors. The funny thing, I think he's in this movie. I'm not going to get into the things he did, the things he was found guilty of, because I don't know. I wasn't there. Sounded to me from the things I heard like there were 2 guilty parties involved. And sometimes that's what it is. But he's already he's already doing a bunch of other movies. He's already kind of back. I think he'll be in this movie. And I think likely, from the moment Doom got announced, my favorite idea was that the movie would start in the Coliseum of Kangs, and Doom would arrive and kill them. Every single one. Maybe it's multiple Dooms. Like I said, maybe there's multiple Dooms coming with Downey as like his horseman of the apocalypse. And if that's the case, I hope they leave the door open to the Kang from the end of Quantumania, when he got beat up by Ant-Man. Another one of the things that will be on my list of the biggest mistakes of Marvel is the way they handled Kang and Ant-Man. But it was smart the way they sucked him into the multiversal engine, because he can be spit out at any time now. Let's say in 5-10 years, Jonathan Majors has fully rebounded, has gotten some nominations under his belt, and you want to bring Kang the Conqueror back, you can. You can bring back the best version of him and still also have Doom kill an entire Coliseum full of them to really establish how serious he is. So, I've kind of rambled a little bit of just Avengers Doomsday stuff, but we went over where Doom might be coming from. Realistically, he's probably just going to be from the Fantastic Four universe, and I can accept that. But I hope that they leave it open so that after Secret Wars, when the universe resets, we can have another Doom, maybe a younger Doom, who is more of a mainstay, more of like a Nick Fury. Like, Doom is always lurking. He's always present in the comics. He's always multiple steps ahead. So I understand why they had to do the Robert Downey Jr. thing, but I'm still hoping for a different Doom down the road. I bet Downey will be great, but there's always going to be this kind of bad taste in my mouth about this, that maybe it's a cash grab, you know? No, we messed up, so what do? We bring back Captain America, Steve Rogers. We bring back Thor. We bring back Chris Evans. I don't love it. There were a lot of new characters introduced in the last saga who weren't straight white men. So yeah, we'll see. I am excited but nervous about Avengers Doomsday, and I really hope that they tie in more of the characters we came to know over the last few years, because they were some of my favorite parts of Marvel. Where things didn't connect as much, there were a lot of really good characters developed, and I liked that. So I hope we get the best of both worlds, where there's the capitalistic cash-grabbing side of things, but I hope we get some bones thrown our way as the fans as well. So guys, let me know down below, what do you think is going to happen in Avengers Doomsday? Where is Doom coming from? Are there going to be multiple Dooms? Tell me what you think. Will Kang be back? Let me know. Like, comment, share, subscribe. Thank you for spending some time with me today, and the Goose is out.